welcome one and all again to the 6th A-FilmTeens Q&A of 2025. We are again streaming live in 5 minutes. We are going to have a English and Czech language segment, Czech and English speaking people. We are welcoming Lana Gredelj, the director of the short film Three Colors, Shabnam Alimardani Shafigh for the film Yasmin, and in the Czech language, in the Czech segment, we are going to be interviewing Anežka Vrbová, the author of the film The Flight of a Bird. Now to the Czech. Vítám vás všechny dnes už u 6. Q&A festivalu A-FilmTeens 2025, tentokrát znovu v angličtině a v češtině. Mám zprávu, že už vysíláme, za 5 minut poběžíme, budeme vysílat autory, respektive rozhovory s autory Lanou Gredelj, autorkou krátkého experimentálního filmu Tři barvy, Shabnam Alimardani Shafigh, autorkou krátkého filmu Yasmin, a na závěr v české části rozhovoru potom s Anežkou Vrbovou. Budeme tedy vysílat za 5 minut. Díky, že jste s námi, budeme se těšit. We are going to be starting streaming in 5 minutes. Thank you for staying with us. Yeah, hello, welcome one and all to the sixth A Film Teens Q&A of 2025. Here we are now streaming live, and we are today in English and in the Czech language segment. Welcoming Anežka Vrbová, hello, Lana Gredelj and Shabnam Shafigh, hello, hi. My name is Zuzana Nevolova. I am going to be moderating today's Q&A, and I am the program coordinator at A-FilmTeens 2025. I picked all your films, and all your films being Anežka's Let ptáka, The Flight of the Bird, how we translated it into English, and then Three Colors of Lana Gredelj, hello, Tři barvy, which I don't know if it rings any bells in Slovenian, but in Czech language it's Tři barvy, and Shabnam Shafigh for the Yasmin film that is the same in the Czech language. Yeah. Okay, so vítám všechny dnes u 6. Q&A. Budeme mít anglicko-český segment, dostaneme se k české části na konci rozhovoru, tak s námi zůstaňte. Okay, so for the English-speaking segment, hello everyone again. I'm probably going to start with Lana, if it's okay with you, because because I think that all of your films felt very personal. To me, they feel like you've all kind of chosen a very personal topic or a very personal approach, and I wanted to kind of pitch these ideas around. And to your film, Lana, the film is an experimental short. It's a documentary dedicated to your dad. It follows a changing set of colors, and it kind of goes metaphorically through some of the stages until it gets kind of greener and more alive. Would you like to expand on the idea of the three colors? What do they mean to you?
So my dad sometimes works in different cities, towns, sometimes even countries. It depends.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how hard it is for me when he's not around. Like the house feels empty. So I asked myself, like, how do kids who don't see their parents at all, like, even worse if they lost their parent feel? So I tried to look at life through their eyes for a moment, and that kind of inspired me for this movie.
I wanted to ask you about some of the influences, if you had any, because I can see the mid-90s poster in the back, and I kind of feel that it has a similar vibe and similar colors. Is there something that kind of rang any bells with making this film?
Well, not really, but that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
So
So it influenced you in any other way? Yeah.
Well,
is there something that sorry, go on. Sorry, there's probably a time shift. Is there something that kind of came first with making this movie? Is it like that that you just saw a certain image or kind of thought of an imagery that you kind of thought was a good thing to start with?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? I didn't really hear you.
Absolutely. No, sorry. We're in different countries, it happens. Is it that you kind of, how was the process of developing this film? What was the first thing that came to you? What kind of have you started with? Was it an image, or was it an idea? Was it a feeling or something?
Well, the first thing I needed for this movie was goodwill, for sure. Also, I wanted the movie to look. I didn't really have a script or anything. I just filmed everything I saw potential in.
I was wondering, how was the process? Yeah, so the first thing that you created was just a shot, probably. Yeah. And you kind of went from that, and then you built other shots, like a diary or something. Yeah. How long did the process take? How did you find the perfect shots for this one?
So it took us about a year from to, I think, June, like the whole school year. We spent a lot of time in the nature, like fresh air, and it was really hard. Sometimes it was like a bit tiring, but it was definitely worth it. Because nature made it much easier to capture the perfect moments.
And was it, you're saying we, were you with with a film crew, or was it you on your own? Yeah, you were. Okay.
Well,
And did you?
Just me. Sometimes it was me and my mentor. Sometimes it was the whole group.
And did you have, you say you didn't have a script? Did you have a shot list, or did you kind of know what you were after that day?
No, not really.
So so a documentary, totally documentary, kind of getting yourself inspired by the surroundings.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very nice. How did kind of did you know beforehand you were shooting a movie? Did you kind of know that you were looking for different colors?
Yes, I was definitely going for a movie, and actually, before we started filming, I had an idea of how I wanted to express the emotions, like of the person I'm making the film about. And I think that colors are the best way to express the emotions. Like, so yeah, that was the first thing I thought about.
Yeah. Would you kind of mind sharing a certain the feeling you went for, and the thing that kind of guided your concept? Because it feels to me, and after the interviews with the others, there's usually the certain like heart of the story that you are capturing in each movie, that you kind of, that is a certain like a northern light, something that kind of guides you through it. What was it for you in this experimental movie?
Well, compassion was the essence of my story, because people don't realize how lucky they are that they have something until they lose it. So I was hoping to create space for empathy and reflection in the audience.
Yeah. And there are many stages through it. What kind of feeling did you want to guide the audience at, like, throughout the whole movie? Was there something like you wanted to end at, something that kind of you're getting to a certain warmth at the end, or that you're kind of less less sad, at least, or something like that? It felt to me like you're shedding certain layers of sadness throughout the process. Was it?
Yes, well, so I wanted to express three emotions through three colors. I chose blue for sadness because, like, it's oftenly associated with sadness. For example, in English, when someone says I'm all blue, they're trying to say that they're all sad. Yellow was for joy and for happiness, and when you mix yellow and blue, you get green. So I was thinking, what emotion do I get when I mix sadness and joy? And I thought that the best emotion to explain that would be nostalgia, because you're really happy that you experienced something, but yet you're sad because it ended. So I wanted people to feel nostalgic, and I wanted them, as I said, to feel compassion and empathy.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes outside the movie. It kind of spans out, and yeah, you get the feeling when you watch the film. There are also some really nice shots. There are beautiful macros, and there's many details, and there's not many like wide shots, but there's a lot of details that are kind of share worthy, basically. What technique or kind of equipment did you use for that? Was it like several cameras, or did you like shoot it on your iPhone? Was it, yeah, how was it?
No, we used one single camera, but we used the macro lens to appraise the little details.
Okay. And is there something that you kind of had a problem with during the shoot? Is it like was it? It feels like it was very spontaneous, the work, and that it kind of, as you're saying, that it was like a diary sort of process. It feels like it was, almost effortless, but the effortless things take a lot of effort, and that is not really recognized and seen. Were there any troubles during the shoot?
Well, we didn't really have much problems, except we were really busy with school and both filming. So there was a few shots that I didn't really like, so we didn't put them in the movie. But yeah, as I said, yeah, there weren't much problems. It was okay. I liked most of the shots, but the ones I liked less, we spent more time editing, and yeah, we just trusted the process.
Is there something that you kind of cut out that you're actually sad about in the hindsight, looking back? Is there something that you kind of omitted in the editing process?
What do you mean?
I just am wondering, because there's a lot of when documentary filmmakers or experimental filmmakers are usually making a film, they are kind of feeling the environment while filming, and when you get into the editing room, you sometimes just get a sense that you have to, fit a certain dramaturgical structure or something, and it has to have a rhythm. You also have like very nicely portrayed some rhythm, and sometimes some really nice shots get omitted, something you kind of you don't put in the movie, and then you're sad about, not including a certain shot. Is there a shot that you kind of think about looking back?
Yes, there is. A scene with the horses where I put the giant moon. I mean, it looks nice, but now that I'm thinking, it could be better without the whole editing thing, but it's okay.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah, you put out a really beautiful film out. How would you kind of advise anyone who is trying to shoot, or yourself? How would you advise yourself if you wanted to shoot a film that kind of resembles yours?
Well, be free, do your thing, be creative, and don't give up if you don't get it on the first try, because every great filmmaker started from nothing but the idea. And I think that mistakes in making films or making anything in general are really important. You actually learn a lot from your mistakes.
Yeah. Is there something that you're making as of now, that you kind of are taking your own advice right now, and kind of learning from the mistakes of your previous things? Yeah. Is there
Yes.
something? Yeah. Any topics that you are interested in now? Is it as personal as this one?
Well, could you repeat?
Yeah, sorry. I have a really bad connection here. Anyway, is in this movie as that you're making, is this similar to this movie that you were making, and are there kind of is there a new topic, or is it personal as this one?
Well, I'm really trying to experiment more, trying different topics and different techniques and everything. I like all of my works to be different from one another. No matter what I'm doing, is it like filmmaking or any other kind of art? I love art in all kinds. So yeah, I always try to make different things that are connected in some way, but not the same.
We're gonna in a bit get to Shabnam, but I wanted to ask you a last question. If you had any plans for the future, if you were kind of pursuing the filmmaking journey, if you wanted to kind of continue or study filmmaking and directing.
Yeah, I was hoping for getting into Academy of Dramatic Arts. I'm gonna have to work really hard on that. So yeah, I'll see where the wind blows me.
Yeah, so fingers crossed for that one. Good luck on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to kind of bridge to Yasmin, to the film of Shabnam. Hello. Would you want to introduce yourself very quickly? Hello. Hi. Thank you for coming, Shabnam.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
My name is Shabnam, and I'm from Denmark, and I'm 19 years old. I don't know how much to say. My pronouns are
That's
she, her.
absolutely fine. Yeah, yeah. And to your film, it's a very well, I'd say it's a very well directed short feature film. I want to ask you about the production value very much. And it has been featured from the Station Next festival. Where it was probably, if I'm not mistaken, it was created as part of the lecture workshop or something like that. Was it? Was it created within a workshop at Station Next, or
No. Station Next also has like a 3-year film school, which I attended, and it was our like second year film.
right.
Yeah, so it was not a workshop. We worked on it for like half a year. And then Station Next also has the Next Film Festival, which which is like collaborating with Station Next, and then we also got selected to that. So yeah,
very cool. I want to kind of follow up on that with in a minute. Thank you for that one, because yeah, that clears up some things. And also that Yasmin is a short feature film. It's on the topic of racism. As I kind of watched it, there's many backhanded compliments going on. There's things that kind of shouldn't be tolerated from like anyone, let alone those whose company we would want to keep. What inspired you? What inspired the story of this short film?
thank you for the question. Well, first I want to I think it's interesting that you use the word racism. It's not that I don't agree. I agree that it's about racism, but I actually, when I first when I decided I wanted to do this film, it was actually because I personally, when I say to people what this film is about, I usually say it's about microaggressions, which is also a type of racism. But I think it was really important for me because I never really experienced directly racism. Like, yes, maybe sometimes, but a lot of people don't really experience like slur words or being hate crimed on the street. It's more subtle, and it's more like backhand, as you said, backhanded compliments. So I really found it interesting how like these microaggressions can come through as something positive. And the thing that inspired me was that it happened to me. When I got the idea. What?
I'm saying I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. It's okay. I knew I wanted to make a movie about microaggressions because it's something that's really important to me, but I didn't know what it was like more than that. And then I was out like at a club with my friends, and I met a person, and he just began like he asked me for my name, and he couldn't really pronounce it, and then he called me exotic, and I was really surprised because I've never really been called that before, and I really didn't know how to take it because he meant it as a compliment, but I really felt like we have a good word for it in Danish. I don't really know what the word is in English, like othered. I felt really like othered, yeah. And then when the night was over, I got home and then I wrote my pitch, like I wrote the synopsis for the movie. And then the day after that, we had like at Station Next, the film school I go to, we all had to pitch a synopsis, and then we voted on the idea. And then so my idea like won, and that was how we chose the idea. So that's a really long answer. I hope I answered the question.
No, you answered perfectly, because it feels like it kind of captures a very specific topic that I don't think gets talked about enough. And it's the so-called like minor things that kind of pile up and you kind of brush them off because they're not dead, but it's about I really appreciated the way how kind of how it takes the stand where you don't have to explain yourself for certain things when people are doing something that kind of makes you uncomfortable and shouldn't be done at all. And so this thing you're talking about is very, I would like to see it more in movies. And so I really appreciated that one. And also the fact that you kind of portrayed, I want to ask you about the characters and about how you kind of created not only Yasmin, but her date, and if you used some of the characteristics that you kind of showed, and how did you kind of how did they bubble up?
That's a good question. Well, Yasmin was quite easy because she is based on myself, and like she's based on every like brown girl that I know that is extremely aware of her own identity and like aware of how other people perceive you. And like as I just said, it's a movie about microaggressions, but it's also a movie about identity and coming of age, because it's about like Yasmin overcoming her she also has a lot of internal racism against herself. Like she wants to be perceived as a specific type of girl, and she wants to be, well, in the end she just wants to be like acknowledged and loved like everybody else. And it's just so hard when like when she has the name that she has, or she has the skin that she has and the hair. Like I don't have curly hair myself, but I know a lot of like my black friends who are really like, they have experienced so many people just coming up and touching their hair without
touching
consent.
the hair, I know.
Yeah,
Oh
and it's a whole
God.
thing. And yeah, so basically I just, yeah, she was quite based on myself, but of course I also had to like give her other characteristics and stuff like that. And then the other girl, her name is actually Caroline, but it doesn't get said in the movie. But now you know.
For some reason I expected Karen, but
yeah, quite close, I guess. Yeah. I wanted her to be kind of a stereotype, actually. Like I wanted, maybe it's hard to explain, but we have like in Copenhagen, we have a specific, like we have a lot of stereotypes of what types of people that live here. And I really wanted her to be like a Copenhagen girly. Like I wanted her to be a really like liberal, progressive person, who's really like actually really like politically aware, but she's still like not politically aware. Like she's still,
you still
like,
have to explain some things too.
exactly. And it was also like really important for me to make the movie queer, because I've like experienced so many people, like there is a lot of racism in the LGBTQ community as well. And I really wanted to also shade light on that, and that yes, you can be a queer girl, but that doesn't excuse you for being like unaware of other like identity markers, if that makes sense. So yeah, when I like worked on her character, it was really hard because I really wanted her to be portrayed not as a bad person, because she isn't a bad person. She's just unaware, and she has to learn, and yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of resonated with me too, because the film is not, and it's not judging anyone, but it's trying to kind of, yeah, this is the situation we're in, just yeah, this is what is happening. At the same time, I wanted to ask you about the development of the story, because you've said that you've written a treatment overnight. Yeah, know that. I know that. And also, has the story changed since you pitched the treatment? Have you kind of, from which stages or through which stages when did the script go?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, it did change. When I first got the idea, it was only gonna be a date. Like the first scene where she's in her own home wasn't there. And then I also knew, like, so the only two scenes I had in my head was like the bar, and then the guys that were gonna get like I don't know what's it
Dragged out
called in
of the bar,
English,
or
dragged out
yeah,
of the, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And I was so lucky that a professional, like a script writer, wanted to give me feedback. It was again
Nice.
because Station Next have connections and they paid
Yeah.
her to do it. So she really helped me like understand, like structuring the story, and we talked a lot about how like we need to like what's it called oh, sorry, my English is
Absolutely fine.
um we have to like ground her character, like in the beginning. We have to get to know her before she just gets thrown out into the bar scene. And then originally I wrote it as a montage. Is that what
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
called?
yeah,
So
montage. Yeah, yeah.
where she was supposed to, like, she was supposed to get take like 10 different outfits on and try different makeup and go around her room and stare at the ceiling and stressing, and like it was a whole thing. And the only reason it didn't get to that was because we didn't have time.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
were extremely like, we didn't have time to do it. um yeah, and then we actually also in the script we wrote down that a beer was supposed to spill on which was supposed to
Oh,
like, yeah,
on her own, or
on Yasmin.
not
And
Karen,
then
but yeah, Karen.
yeah, and then that was the reason why she went to the bathroom to like get picked up, to get cleaned up. And then we cut that because we didn't have time. And then when we were editing the movie, I think another page of the script were deleted
Good,
because
good deleted.
yeah, because it's yeah, we also had like a professional editor helping us, and also like a professional director, so we had like help through all the stages. And they talked a lot about how some of the things in the script were like filler, and we needed to, get the story moving on and stuff like that. And it was a lot about structure, and it was hard for me to say goodbye to some of the
Ditto.
lines. But eventually, like when you see the movie now, you don't think that there is
Makes sense.
something missing, so it's okay.
Actually, when you mentioned the switch, or the moment where there was the beer and she was kind of cleaning herself up in the bathroom, I've actually noticed before that this cut, and I was like, oh, this is good. It felt like almost you don't get the context for her getting to the bathroom, and it feels almost like she's in her own mental state. So I actually really appreciated that one. So yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear.
That was a very good one. Also, when you mentioned the prep for the date before, how have you kind of created her room? She has a very cozy kind of vibe going on in there. Is it part of the character? Is it something you wanted to contrast with the bar or something? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really glad that you noticed it because it was really a thing that we talked a lot about. We really wanted to create a safe space for Yasmin. Like she is going out in the world and meeting something that she's kind of scared of, because she knows that she has been on dates before where things have gotten bad. So she's like expecting, oh, maybe this is going to happen again. And she was right, it did happen again. So we really wanted to make a contrast to like her being in her own mindset, her own room, her own safe space, and then going out like in the dangerous world, if you can say it like that. Yeah, so we really worked on it, both like on the like visually, but also audibly. How do you say that? Like in the audio, in the music. Yeah, and and we were so lucky that Station Next has their own like studio. So we just used like one of the, it was already a room there, and then our production designer was just amazing and did magic, and it totally became her room. And it was, I really liked how it looked. Yeah. Sorry,
continue.
Yeah, it was also because we talked a lot about how we can like tell who she is in so short, we have so short time to show who she is. So we also had like all these posters of like Yasmin works in a kindergarten, so we had posters of like drawings that the kids made her, and we had like posters of activism. So we really tried to create a sense of her character without like necessarily telling it, because we didn't have time to tell it or show it. Yeah,
I was actually really going on about the also the visual of the bar, where there were the how do we call it, the lighting circles and stuff like that, it looks so glamorous and kind of and cozy, and it, it's such a, it's almost a sci-fi vibe, and it's supposed to be cozy, but it's not. And and you automatically know that this is not a place where you find yourself when you feel good. So I really liked that. Was there something you you kind of had to compromise with the budget? How would you kind of I don't know, a graduation project or something like that on a budget? And did you have any tips that kind of helped you with the production, perhaps?
Yeah, okay, so maybe this is not the best answer, because we were just extremely lucky. Like it's all about connections, and I think it's called assistant direct, like first AD in English. She works at a club and a bar. So she worked there. So she just asked her boss like if we could use that location, and the location already had like the lights that you talk, I think the round lights that you're talking about. So in that case, we got it for free, which is so fantastic. But if I should give like some advice, in Denmark, people are really like happy to just help. Like you should just ask everybody, and it never hurts to ask too much, and you should never be scared to say, oh, we don't have budget to do this, or we don't have like sometimes a lot of people actually want to do things for free, and it's insane how often that will happen. If you just write in your mail, oh, we're like a team of young filmmakers and we don't have any budget because we're doing all this voluntarily, but we have so much passion for this project. I think
and
so
we will
many
feed
times,
you, and that's
exactly. Yeah, also we didn't pay the actors, like, but we gave them food and we gave them like transportation, and I just think it's important to emphasize that it's hard to do things on a budget, but you can make it happen if you know the right people and if you know how to ask. And like also maybe I just said write a mail, but honestly, if you have accessibility, you can just go out and ask like in person. And just I was okay, this is maybe another topic, but I'm doing another film right now where I was trying to find an art gallery, and I just went through a whole street of galleries in Copenhagen, and I just went and talked with everybody and introduced myself, and I was like, hey, this is a really beautiful art. And they were like, oh, do you make art? And I was like, no, but I make movies and I'm looking for, and then conversation just sparked like that. So you have maybe to be an extrovert, but I believe that yeah, I hope it's an okay answer.
No. It's actually a very good answer, because this is something that I don't think gets talked about enough, and the people in film are usually very, very keen on doing something if they like the concept. So this is a very, very good answer, I'd say. Was this actually the most difficult part about the process? Is it like looking back that this was the biggest issue that you were solving, was the budget or these things that you kind of solved through networking or something, or was there something that you in the hindsight would do differently that wasn't connected to the budget?
That's a good question. I think that maybe it's because like I've always been used to, well, it's not that I've made like a million films, but I feel like in all my projects I've been used to not having a big budget. So I think that my like expectations are already low. So I just think that, oh, this is like a problem.
Doable.
This is something that is a difficulty, but we'll handle it. Like I think I feel like the more what I uh, what I had what's it called? Difficulties. I don't know.
Difficulties, yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm guessing too. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it was even. I think the time was the hardest thing, because we only shot in 2 days. So I think the biggest problem was just like keeping it short, and also like finding extras, like finding background characters, like making sure that we could shoot everything like in time and stuff like that. So actually not much the budget, but it's easy for a director to say, because it's like, oh, we can just do this, we can just do this, and then
the
like
production will manage.
Yeah, exactly. The producer is sitting like, okay, no, we cannot do this. Yeah.
That's a very good, I was actually wondering if you in the hindsight, either from your film crew, the producers just going, oh my god, the budget was the worst, have you received any kind of positive responses that you wanted to hear for this film, or is there something that you really want to share for everyone? Sorry, my phone is going off.
Yeah, well, I am so happy and lucky because I have received so many positive things from this. Like one of my friends, but also someone that is not my friend. Like I've heard about people who cried when they watched this movie. And just that means the world to me, because it means that I created an emotion. And I was also so lucky that one of my teachers at my high school is like doing a topic with her first like with her some of her students about like norms and social norms, and she wanted to show Yasmin, so the students had to like analyze it, and then I was invited over to talk about it. And it's just incredibly lucky to hear people talk about, like, sorry, I'm not good at talking in English.
No, it's
I don't know how to express myself, but I feel like it's a reward to just hear people talk about it and saying that they like it or saying that they feel seen. Like the reason I made this movie is because I want representation, and I've never really seen representation when I grew up. And it's just, I know that I did something good when people come up and say, I felt represented by this, I felt seen by this. It just motivates me to keep going on. And yeah, I don't know if that was
it was
the
a
answer.
very good answer for that. I'd say that it kind of very much instills in the viewers what you're talking about, that the feeling of being seen and being kind of just kudos to other people and kind of respect them for what and who they are. And so that kind of talks. And to me personally, it felt also personal. So do you have any plans for your future? Do you have any other Yasmins in the making?
Yeah, well, I'm actually making a short film now, which is it's not with Station Next, but it's also a graduation project at my high school, because I study media at my high school, um, and we have our character Layla, and I've always I feel like I'm taking Yasmin with me because we have a scene where the other guy is like Lila, and she's like, no, it's Layla. So I always feel like I will inevitably always do stories that is about this film is about something else, but I feel like it's really important for me to always have like characters who are like an ethnic minority or a sexual minority or doing stories that have not been heard. That is the most important thing for me, and I'm really hoping that I can continue to do that. I'm graduating high school this year, and I'm gonna work next year. I'm taking gap years, so I don't know if there's gonna be time for movies. I'm also graduating from Station Next. But I really hope that I can apply for a Danish film school, like Super 16, maybe in the future. But I feel like I have to work on a lot of more projects before that. But yeah, I feel like the future is bright. As you also said, Lana, we'll see where the wind takes us. I feel like I have so many ideas and I just want to continue. But yeah.
Those are really nice words. I think for the English segment, maybe if you and Lana have anything else in English that you would kind of want to, any message that you would kind of give to yourself even to think about on your future kind of filmmaking things, and we're gonna move afterwards to the Czech-speaking segment. But is there anything that you would kind of want to remind yourself or someone who's just starting out?
Yeah, I kind of want to say that maybe I talked about a little bit about it before, but I really don't people are always talking about budgets and oh, we cannot do this because it's expensive and we don't have this and we don't have this. And I just think it's, sorry my language, but bullshit.
No.
I think that we should just, I know it's hard, but this movie I'm doing right now, we have zero money for it. With Yasmin, I think we had a little budget, but this right now it's on a zero budget. And that's also because we're lucky that we can borrow equipment. But if you can't borrow equipment, shoot it on your phone. And there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube, how to color grade on your phone and how to color grade if you've shot on a phone. And we all have to start somewhere. And maybe it's a really cliche advice, but I just really think that it's important because we all you can do it no matter what. Oh, I feel like I sound so cliche right now, but yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially, I think, what filmmaking is about.
Mm.
Lana, do you have anything else?
Everything that she said.
Yeah. So we are kind of nearing the end of the English speaking segment. You can absolutely stay for anyone who has been watching us on streams in the English language and doesn't like the sound of Czech, then don't be alarmed. Thank you for staying with us, and thank you for watching in English. Farewell, goodbye if you don't like the Czech language. Over to you,
Can I ask one last thing?
Absolutely,
Sorry.
yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was just wondering, can I see the other films? I really want to see Lana's
Absolutely.
film.
Yeah. Good of you to say. I usually say it at the end, but your films are actually available for free for anyone who registers on the A-FilmTeensFest.com platform. Yeah, I will shoot you an email afterwards to see until the 23rd of February. And we have a selection of 120 movies this year, I think. So you can absolutely watch each other's movies. I think they have a lot of a lot of the personal connections in common. The personal approaches there, I'd say. So I'm really glad that all three of you came today. Thank you for that. And yeah, don't hesitate to kind of shout in during the Czech interview, even if you like or don't like the Czech language. And once again, thank you. Plus, yeah, the Czech is probably on time. Dobrý večer. Ještě jednou pokračujeme.
Dobrý večer všem. Já
Dobrý večer.
jako klidně můžu mluvit anglicky, mě to nevadí.
Je to lepší takhle?
Mně to je fakt jedno, jako ať
Jo,
tady
dobře.
nesedíme, jako že prostě se tady na nás budou koukat a my si tu něco mluvíme.
Okay. So we are actually continuing in the English section because Anežka is very comfortable talking even in the Czech language, the English language. Thank you for that one. Also, can you or would you introduce yourself in a short manner if you want to?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Anežka. Hi, everybody. Right now I'm in like my graduation year, and Let Ptáka, my film, or The Flight of a Bird, actually started just like a doodle in class when I was bored and spiraled into this huge thing. And it was like actually a solo journey, and it was very interesting to work on it, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I kind of felt that it was very personal because it's an animated film that is about the attempt to fly away, about the desire to kind of get free amidst the grey, and it's about the world inside. And I just was wondering, it felt very, it felt that it kind of stemmed from the COVID years, or almost from the grey. And I wanted to ask you what personally inspired you to create this animated thing.
As I said, the film actually started by me just I actually doodled my main character in class, and there was like just the very rough sketch of him. And then I kind of liked him, so I tried out some facial expressions, some stuff he could do. I remember like he was holding a lantern, maybe I think he was holding a match, like lighting a lantern. And then I drew the scene when he stands on the roof. We can see his back and the birds are flying. And well, at that point, I kind of like started making a story about him. And I think I didn't start actually animating until like maybe half a year after all this. But I think I based it all on my drawing of him on the roof.
So the development was a bit lengthy. It was longer than
Yeah, it was very long. Also because I actually started in like základní umělecká škola, which in English would be like elementary public art school. It's like a group of organizations in Czech where people can attend art classes, different instruments, art. And usually the lessons are only once a week for like 2 hours roughly. So I started there, and I started animating there, and it is very slow to do just like a portion of a scene 2 hours at week. But then I started borrowing the equipment home, and then I got my own, and things started moving. So if I had the access to all of the equipment, I would make it much quicker.
Much quicker.
So I think, but I think it took over a year, but because I didn't have the equipment.
But that feels almost like a great solution, because as the animation gets very time consuming and resource intensive, it feels like it's good to have a timeline in which you do it, that it doesn't consume you. Yeah. Was it something
very nice?
Was it something that you kind of struggled with, the like tediousness of the process, like the lengthiness and
Yeah, the character is very stylized. Like he has a little cape, and only he has like cape and 2 thin legs. So you can only see his head, the cape, which is like basically a triangle, and the 2 legs, and sometimes the hands to like show movement and stuff.
And I remember very early on when I started, there's a scene, it's like the third scene or something, when he lights up a lantern and he gets up with it. And he's like crouching on the ground and he has to stand up. And I, for the love of God, couldn't figure out how will he get up. I remember just like standing up from the floor, trying out how people actually work. And then I tried to like do this in the animation. And then, of course, the running scene. Oh gosh, I had to animate the houses moving, him running and everything, and the bird flapping the wings. I think it's one of the like most difficult scenes.
I thought so. The one that is overarching. It looks beautiful. By the way, it's a. I want to ask. Yeah. I thought so, and at the same time, I wanted to ask you about the animation style, but at the same time, as you started talking about the development and the character, was it something that that kind of came to you, that he came to you in the first place, and then you created a script? Did you have to kind of as you talked, did you have to cut something out because it was too difficult to animate, or that you said just not this time, I'm just gonna omit this one again?
I didn't have a script like written out. I just had a storyboard because there aren't any words in the film, which has a very practical reason, because I didn't have anyone else to voice it. I'd have to do it myself, and I didn't want to do that. So it's like there isn't a single word spoken. But I like planned out the scenes, and as I was progressing, I realized that for example, something for the viewers might not be as clear as it is in my head, which is a problem I face not regularly, but like not often, but like occasionally, that I just like I see something in my head and I like assume that everyone imagines and feels the same as I do, but when working or like viewing a work of art, especially if I'm doing it. So then usually someone has to step in and be like, well, people don't really see this because you didn't show them this, and they don't have like the tools to deduce that because you haven't shown them. So I had to add scenes, which is, for example, the whole scene in his house, like when he's flipping through his sketchbook or leaving for work. That wasn't there, and I had to redo it, and I was cursing every minute because, like, when I realized how much more work I have to do, it was tedious. But I think those scenes actually, in the end, they ended up good. But like, I didn't like the idea of adding any more work.
Looking back, would you want to do it with a different technique, or would it be faster? I don't know. I've never really animated a film, but I've written some, but I've never animated one, so I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of the creative decisions were based on practicality. Actually, the reason why the film is black and white was that I just didn't want to do color. I drew him just like an ink sketch, like with marker. So he was black and white from the beginning. And as I was thinking about it, the color like didn't really speak to me in this kind of setting. And I realized how much work that would be, that I would have to add shadows and blending modes and everything. And that's just so much work that it kind of like, I think it tied nicely to the aesthetic of it. And I like kind of, I think I learned to work with it, but it was like I'm not, I don't really like saying a challenge, but maybe like a boundary sort of.
Yeah. Did you kind of on these boundaries and challenges develop your animation style too? Because the technique that you used in this film is very lovely. It's very kind of it's very delicate. It's very it fits the theme, I'd say. Is it something that you kind of learn over time and you kind of are stuck with what you've kind of practiced your hand at, or did you kind of decide that this movie is going to look like this?
Well, at the time, I think I like had my art style kind of developed, or well, it like started being my style, if I say it so. It is still developing, of course, like everyone else's. But I just like I saw vision in my head, and I just tried to do it like I tried to convey the best I could. So it wasn't like that I would learn purposefully how people lift their hands or how they smile. I just had a vision, and I tried to be as true to it as I could.
And did you kind of, when you're talking about the visions, did you have anything in mind, like an animator or a film or a feeling that you wanted to convey? Something that you that kind of
While
inspired you
creating
and
it.
yeah, while creating it, yeah.
Oh, I think it was just like based on some of like my feelings or experiences. I usually, when I look back at my artworks, like I don't only animate, I also draw and write and stuff. But like when I look back, I usually just kind of see like some of the feelings I was feeling at the time, like seep through it. But at the moment, it's like subconscious. I don't really realize it at the moment. But for example, the birds, like that's a symbol like I very I very love to use in my work, and I love it in other works of art. I really enjoy it because I just think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I like birds too, which is, I don't know why, they just feel like a spirit animal. However, the film also, it uses sound very nicely. Not only like the bird wings and the sound of, it's almost SMRI, I'd say. It's in a way somehow calming. There's the sound of the pencil on the paper and stuff. How did you kind of use the music and the rhythm while you were creating the film?
Yeah, well, the music was actually composed by my brother,
Oh, cool.
whom I asked to do it, and I'm so grateful he agreed because we actually had only 3 days to do the whole post-production and the music because we just got home from vacation, and there was like a deadline for another film festival that I wanted to attend, and I was like, please, please do this for me, and he did, which is amazing, and I kind of like played around with it. Like the sound of the pencil or the flapping wings, that's it, are from like a sound library from the program I used. And actually the footsteps, I couldn't find any good footsteps, so that's me running in our garden and my mom had to record it. So I think in one place, if you listen really closely, you can hear birds chirping because it was outside.
That's another example of ask your people around you to kind of help you
Yeah,
out. Yeah, in
definitely.
filmmaking. Have you kind of learned something new that you didn't know throughout this film? Is there something that kind of you look back on and now you're like, oh my God, yeah, already I know that. Few years you didn't know, few
Well,
years back.
I definitely had no idea like how to compose scenes together, like how long they should be, which rhythm to give them, like when to end the scene, when to begin it. Which I think that's something I learned while doing this, not prior. And I think I'm grateful for it because even if you don't make films, it's something you can use because a good scene, like a good image, is very crucial to some like different forms of art. I think that's something I learned.
Yeah, I'd say we're nearing the end, but I just wanted to ask you if there's something that you personally when you look back at the film that still speaks to you and that you would still like to convey through the film, but that also kind of to yourself is the most interesting and fun part about the movie, looking back?
As I said, I very much like the symbolic of a bird, the symbol. I'm very close to it. I use it in different artworks. And for me, it's like the film is about finding your personal freedom amongst like maybe a setting that you're not really comfortable with, that you isn't like filling you, and you just feel you're like lacking something. And I think because the main character finds the freedom and fulfillment in like his personal space, I think that's something I'd like to learn or remind myself.
Yeah, that's very nice. And also, did it kind of get into your last project in your current projects? Are you planning or are you working on anything animated?
Well, not now. I've like
You've luckily finished something. Oh my God. Don't tell me, because that's always so intimidating. No, sorry, I'm just always, when somebody finishes something, I'm like, oh my God, how did you do that? So if you finish something, kudos to you.
No. After I finished the Flight of a Bird, ptáka, I just said I'm gonna give myself a break, which felt very nice. Recently, I've like used animation for another projects, like for theater projects, which is something I do right now. Well, like right now, basically yesterday I was working on a set of illustrations for a book, which I'm doing just like for my own pleasure, but I like them very much, and I think I want to do something with them. I had some ideas for some films, but I wasn't just really feeling the vibe, if I say it so. It may sound a bit stupid, but I don't want to pressure myself into something especially creative when I'm just like not feeling at the moment. I know I'd be unhappy. The artwork would turn out not really as I'd like to, and so I try not to pressure myself.
Yeah, I think we have one last question for that I've already asked Lana and Shabnam, but I'd be interested if like any of you had something to say about why was filmmaking important to you? Why do you keep on doing movies? This is the last question of today, and then we're going to wrap up. So don't hesitate to kind of take a minute to think about that one. But yeah. If anybody wants to start, just tell me.
I think generally for me, art like as a whole medium, not only filmmaking but also drawing, painting, illustration. For me, it's about like, gosh, conveying a message, feeling that maybe can connect people. That you can just like you can say so much through art, and that's something I like. Why film? Because I sometimes I feel like that certain ideas will themselves they will tell you like which medium they want to be portrayed as. For example, a poem sometimes can be turned into a book and vice versa. I think that's like the idea itself will tell you how it wants to be told.
Oh dear.
And that's why I just made ptáka, Flight of the Bird, as a film, as an animated film, because I felt like the idea and the story called for it.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Thank you for the question.
Any of you, Shabnam, Lana?
Well, I think that it's really important for people to express themselves for who they really are. It doesn't really matter if it's like makeup or clothing or music or art or filmmaking. I just think that it's
really wholesome when people express themselves through something they really like and enjoy.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd stand with that. Shabnam, you're nodding. Yeah.
I agree. I also
Yeah.
agree with Lana. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to wrap up on this one. I think it was awesome, and thank you for coming in here, and thank you for your films that you submitted them. Again, this was Lana and her three colors, Shabnam and her Yasmin, and Anežka and the Flight of the Bird in Czech, Let ptáka. You're all available to the registered viewers on the A-FilmTeensFest.com platform for free. It's for till the 23rd of February, as I said before. Thank you again for participating. I think we're going to end the stream now. Martine, asi můžeš vypnout stream. Thank you to